Test 1, 2. Good evening. Welcome to the Revere Zoning Board of Appeals. If you could rise and salute the flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call of the members. Mr. Lemonna is absent. Mr. Lopes? Here. Mr. O'Brien? Here. Mr. Pelton? Here. And Chairman Tucker?
Here.
Here, a quorum is present. First item on tonight's agenda is Stephen Mutino, 278 Endicott Ave, requesting a variance of Section 1724010A with respect to the minimum requirement that all decks be set back at least 20 feet from the rear property line and 10 feet from the side property line to enable the appellant to remove the existing metal balconies and install composite decking at 278 Endicott Avenue.
Is the applicant here? If you kindly press the button, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Yosef Abu Taleb. I'm an owner of Unit 1 in 278, and I'll be representing the 278 Condo Association for this application.
Okay. Your plans were very clear. Do you have anything to add, or we can just continue with the public hearing?
No, please continue.
Okay. Seeing that it's a public hearing, I'll ask if there's any proponents, anyone in favor. Hearing none, I'll close that side. If you're in favor, please come up, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Lisa Lee, and I'm an owner of the other unit on 278 Endicott Ave.
Okay, and you're in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone else in favor? Seeing and hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any opponents? Anyone opposed? Seeing and hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any members wish to speak? Then I would ask a motion to approve with our standard. Okay.
Standard conditions are as follows. If the rights authorized by this variance are not exercised within 1 year of the date of the grant of this variance, the rights shall lapse. This variance shall not be valid until the appellant has recorded this variance and plan in the Suffolk County Registry of Deeds and submits document recording numbers and dates to the city clerk and building inspector of the city of Revere. And lastly, the appellant must receive site plan review approval prior to applying for a building permit. Shall the Zoning Board of Appeals grant the relief requested subject to these conditions? Mr. Lemonna is absent. Mr. Lopes? Yes. Yes. Mr. O'Brien? Yes. Yes. Mr. Pelton? Yes. And Chairman Tucker?
Yes.
Yes, the variance has been granted.
Thank you.
Please wait for 30 days until you get something from the clerk's office.
Sure. Thanks.
Next application is A2336, Dion Krieger, 453A Broadway, Everett, Mass., requesting multiple variances to enable the appellant to convert the existing single-family dwelling to a two-family dwelling at 30 Genesee Street.
Good evening. Please state your name and address for the record. You have to press the button.
Good evening. My name is Mike Mena. I am speaking for the applicant this evening. I am not a resident of Revere, but my residence is at 57 Old Bolton Road in Stowe, Massachusetts. So thank you for being here and listening to our project this evening. As you had mentioned, the proposed project requires a variance and a special permit for the property at 30 Genesee Street. The property is located in the southwest portion of Revere between Mountain and Park Avenues. The lot history and existing conditions: the lot is currently developed by a single-family dwelling in the RB residential district, which permits single and two-family dwellings. The lot predates the City of Revere's zoning ordinance, and the existing dwelling was built circa 1880. The lot is surrounded by a development with existing and two-family dwellings. The proposed development is an addition to convert the existing single-family dwelling to a two-family dwelling. The dwelling would be accessed by an existing driveway to the left of the dwelling. Pre-existing non-conforming side and front setbacks would be maintained, but the structure would be extended upward and along the rear and front elevations. Addition would exceed the maximum building coverage at 33.7% for where 30 is required, and the project currently is proposed to provide 2 parking spaces which currently exist where 4 are required. Therefore, a special permit is required for the additions within the pre-existing non-conforming front and side setbacks, and a granting of a variance for the minimum lot size, frontage, building coverage, and parking requirements. The lot size is 3,600 square feet and the frontage is 40 feet, where 8,000 square feet and 80 feet are required. The lot again predates the city's zoning regulations. The lot is similar to other lots in the neighborhood which have substandard lot sizes and consist only of 40-foot frontage and 90 feet of depth.
That, you explained it all, I think. You don't have to go on,
You don't?
because we have it here. Unless someone is to speak in the audience, I'll ask you to come back up.
Sure.
Are there any proponents? Anyone in favor? Seeing and hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any opponents? Anyone opposed? Seeing and hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any members? I have one question about the parking, but go right ahead.
I believe that Councilmember Dan Rizzo was contacted regarding this, was sent plans and talked to the property owner.
It's Keith.
Yeah, okay, I apologize. Yeah. But I believe there was no objection when speaking to the council member.
But they speak to Councilor Keith, who's the ward councilor for the area. You did. That's the ward councilor. Okay.
Chairman Tucker, I just have one question. Review letter does not special permit, just the variances.
So did you understand what you just said? That Frank Stringy, whose site plan review letter, it doesn't state a special permit. It just says that you have variances coming in front of us.
The application, on the front cover of the application, referenced a request for a variance and special permit.
Frank said he doesn't need a
Yeah.
special permit.
Frank is saying you don't need a special permit, so we always go by what site
Okay,
plan
yeah.
review provides to us.
That's fine, yeah, okay.
Okay.
We don't object to that.
Can you press the mic? Thanks.
Why is it a rental property? Why not an expansion? Why turn it into a two-family versus an expansion for the,
Yeah, I can let the property owner explain, but the property owner doesn't plan to make this a rental. The property owner is planning to live here and have extended family. They live with her parents, and a sister, I believe, is also going to be living there. So it's not meant to be a rental. It's going to be 2 families essentially living on
so
the
why
property.
not apply for an in-law?
Well, my understanding from the regulations for in-law is that you cannot expand or do an addition, no exterior changes as part of that. And given the existing
true.
size of the single family, it wouldn't accommodate both families in there. So this was the other option.
A good question, though, but you can't expand on it.
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering why convert it into a two-family versus an extension of the building itself? Follow me? 'Cause once
No,
you convert it to
I
a-
understand. Rather than doing an addition and just more bedrooms and more
Right.
space, but when living with extended family and parents, having the ability to have separate areas for them to live solely without having to interact, older parents and folks being able to be separated from the children, that is a different situation and helps with that and gives them their own sense of their own place, rather than all sharing and congregating in
Okay.
the residential areas, common areas.
This board normally has an additional member. Him being absent, it would only take 1 vote to stop this. You can offer to ask for a continuance if you feel that you could possibly get one vote and ask for continuance till the next meeting, just have the other member here.
Let me check with the applicant, but I guess as far as that and judging whether we feel we need another member, is there any feedback from the board or any concern that there is some issue that maybe if we did continue that we could address in coming back? I think if the board seems okay with the project this evening, and there isn't a need to continue, but obviously, I wouldn't want to request a continuance, and especially if we were going to request a continuance, it'd be good to hear feedback so we can address any comments coming back for the next meeting.
I just have to state it because a member is not here. Any issues? I don't see any opposition. Okay. So we would ask for a roll call then, with our standard conditions.
Conditions are as follows. If the rights authorized by this variance are not exercised within 1 year of the date of the grant of this variance, the rights shall lapse. This variance shall not be valid until the appellant has recorded this variance and plan in the Suffolk County Registry of Deeds and submits document recording numbers and dates to the city clerk and building inspector of the city of Revere. And the appellant must receive site plan review approval prior to applying for a building permit. Mr. Lemonna is absent. Mr. Lopes? Yes. Yes, Mr. O'Brien? Yes. Yes, Mr. Pelton? Yes. Yes, and Chairman Tucker?
Yes.
Yes, this variance has been granted, subject to the findings and conditions of the ZBA.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next application is A2337 on the application of 1784 Holdings LLC, Scottsdale, Arizona, requesting the following variances from the ZBA to enable the appellant to raise the existing garage facility and associated structures and construct a new 5-story self-storage facility with associated parking, pedestrian access, and vehicular access at 195 American Legion Highway. They're requesting FAR, minimum area requirement, and minimum parking requirements.
Good evening. Could you please press the microphone, state your name and address for the record, please?
Matthew Costa with Beals Associates. Our office's address is 2 Park Plaza, Suite 200, Boston, Mass. 02116. And I also have hard copies of this presentation if it makes it a little bit easier.
Did you present the presentation to us in the packet here?
It's generally the same information
Okay.
that's in the packet.
So I don't believe, I don't believe we'll need it if it's included in the packet.
Okay.
Unless someone in the audience is asking to look at, to view something, you'll be going in front, I believe, to the city council.
That's correct.
That's when you can do a presentation.
Okay. I will make this brief then.
Okay.
So I'll just flip ahead. I won't even get to an agenda, but just quickly on the development team, Beals Associates, we're out of Boston. We've done a lot of work here in Revere as well as the other surrounding towns and cities. 1784 Holdings is the applicant. They're a developer out of Arizona, specializing in commercial and industrial properties, self-storage facilities, primarily. And Jordan Architects is the project architect who's provided some renderings of the proposed building. So as you mentioned, we are filing for a special permit with the City Council. We have our meeting scheduled for October 30th, next week. So far, we've got an ANRAD or an ORAD issued for the wetland delineation that's around the boundary, around the property, as well as the floodplain. Then obviously we'll be going back to site plan review committee after that.
Okay. Seeing that it's a public hearing, I'll ask if there's any proponents. Anyone in favor?
Hi, my name is Vin Conti. I'm working at 195 American Legion Highway since I was in the 4th grade. And I'm very in favor of this project.
Okay, thank you. Counselor, good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Ira Novoselsky, 53 Dehone Street, Ward 2 Counselor. I've reviewed this proposed development, and I think it's a nice-looking piece of property, and I think it'll enhance the neighborhood and the city. So we're for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other proponents? Seeing and hearing none, a proponent?
Hugo Rizzuto, I own the
Welcome.
property next door to this package presented. I'm obviously in favor of it, anything to beautify the city, and I think this package will. I just wanted to ask the developer regarding the entrance and exit onto American Legion Highway, since that is a parking lot every single day, day in, day out, how it would affect the traffic in that particular area. Okay?
Okay, I'll have them answer that once I go after for any other proponents. Seeing and hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Are there any opponents? Anyone opposed? Seeing and hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. If you could just elaborate on his question, please.
Sure, I could flip to it quick on our site plan here, but we would just be having one access point onto American Legion Highway. I think the best thing about traffic is this is gonna be a far, far reduction in the amount of traffic that we would have on the site. This is self-storage, trip generation, using that, we're probably gonna have about maybe 15 visitors a day, and they're only gonna be on site for about probably 15, 20 minutes typically. So it'll be a far reduction in the amount of traffic, and I think it helped to alleviate some of the traffic that's on American Legion Highway.
You'll be cutting off the current entrance and using just one main, so you'll be widening that or is it still wide enough to have the boat in and out?
Right now, there's two main entrances. The curb cuts are very wide there, so we would just be using one. I think it'll be 30-foot wide entrance, and it would be under stop control.
Thank you.
Could you elaborate where that entrance is in reference to the present, the normal lane? I don't know if you have an overlay.
I can zoom in, and you can kind of just make out. Let's see if I can zoom in one more time here.
Where's the pumps right now?
So the new entrance will be just off this is the face of the building, right, or I can't show a cursor, but right where that entrance is that's the existing building, the garage area. So the pumps are right where that sidewalk is, about 30 feet to the right.
The pumps are 30 feet to the right?
Correct, yeah. So our curb cut is gonna be, we're shifting the curb cut probably 5 or 10 feet, plan east, or plan left, sorry. We're basically maintaining that farthest curb cut to the side.
Do I see cars parked there, or is that a storage for
That's,
trailers, or?
the existing cars that are behind the green, those are the cars that are out there right now for, I think it's Millennium Auto. All the car parking is, those 4 spaces right at the corner of the building, and then there's interior spaces within the building.
There's no storage for trailers?
No.
Boats, or?
No storage for trailers and boats outside.
Mr. Chairman, I know I am in favor of it, just some questions. Is that, this brown area, is that the size of the building?
Correct.
Now, do we understand that there's a 200-foot easement
200-foot easement?
between the Amazon space down? Because when the buildings way back when it was toll manufacturing, they had a 200-foot easement in between here for a floodplain.
Sure, so there is we know of the floodplain that's out there. We've done a title on the property and it hasn't shown.
Yeah,
any
it was
of
a
those
retention
200-foot
area,
easements.
and actually, I don't know if the city clerk could find something on that, but I believe there may have been a 200-foot easement between the homes along the side street and this main property here, so just bring that up to you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yep.
It's a drainage ditch that runs from catch basins. It runs underneath, on the right side. It runs underneath the, I'm gonna turn a laser pointer on here. There it is. Yeah, so there's a drainage ditch that comes underneath here through a culvert, and then that drainage ditch extends out towards the back and into that marsh and wetlands. But it's not, with our ORED, it's not a perennial stream or anything like that.
But am I correct that you've already been in front of site plan review?
Yes,
And
we-
you've been in front of Concom just for,
Concom for the
For the
wetland boundary
wetland.
and the floodplain. And then site plan review was just the brief, denial letter. We discussed the project. They all
Do
the-
you still have to go back in front of the Conservation Commission, am I correct?
We'll go back in front for a notice of intent, correct?
All righty. Any other questions? No. I'd ask for a motion to approve with our current conditions.
The conditions are as follows. If the rights authorized by this variance are not exercised within 1 year of the date of the grant of this variance, the rights shall lapse. This variance shall not be valid until the appellant has recorded this variance and plan in the Suffolk County Registry of Deeds and submits document recording numbers and dates to the city clerk and building inspector of the city of Revere, and the appellant must receive site plan review approval prior to applying for a building permit. Shall the zoning board of appeals grant the relief requested, subject to those conditions? Mr. Lemonna is absent. Mr. Lopes? Yes. Mr. O'Brien? Yes. Mr. Pelton? Yes, and Chairman Tucker?
Yes.
Yes, the variance has been granted. There's no further business, Chairman.
Having no further business, our next meeting will be November 29th. That's the last Wednesday of the month. Oh, wait 1 second before we confirm that. 22nd or the 29th?
Oh, the 22nd's before.
Okay. The next meeting will be at the call of the chair. It will be posted down at City Hall. Thank you and have a good night.